Welcome back to Trailer Trash Flips. My name is Mac, and I buy things to sell on eBay and try to make a profit. Today is a very drizzly Wednesday morning, but the thing is, I really like the rain. And maybe there's not that many people out there like me, because I very often hear people talking about, they don't like the rain or they can't wait for the summertime and the sunshine. And maybe I'm just jaded because I live in the hot, very hot, humid South, but I really like rainy days. I'm not talking about when it's absolutely just pouring down rain like there's a hurricane. I'm talking about just normal rainy days. My son lives in Washington State on the western side, probably about 45 minutes out of Seattle. He told me that the rain that Seattle gets is not really like the rain that he grew up with in Louisiana. He said that in Seattle, it's mostly very light rain. And one thing that he really does enjoy about living in Washington is the climate. He doesn't mind the rainy days. He doesn't have to deal with the heat and humidity, and he doesn't have to deal with hurricanes. And the truth is, I could kind of see myself living there. Of course, it's never as easy as just packing up and moving, especially at this point in my life when I have aging parents and their health problems that need to be dealt with. So I don't see myself packing up and moving anytime soon, but it's always something that I could consider. Outside of eBay, with my carpet and tile cleaning business, I would probably actually do better there. I've talked to some colleagues that live in Washington, and there's simply more opportunity for that work there. I also don't think it would be any problem when it comes to reselling. So all that is something that I can consider in the future, but as of right now, I'm not going anywhere. Before I show you the items that are going out today, which is not much, I wanted to show you something I got from Hobby Lobby to help show the size of things in my photos on eBay. It is this Olipfa lip edge ruler, and if I remember correctly, it was about $15. I liked it because it was see-through, and I just thought it may help on some items, and it does. It has not been as handy as I thought it would be, so for a lot of stuff, I'm still just using a ruler. But I wanted to show you this in case anybody lists maybe certain items that this might be helpful to show the length, width, or whatever. And you can also stand it up and give the height. So it's a little bit busy. I wish all this wasn't here, but again, this was not designed for resellers. This is something for like fabric or something like that. So I think it has some uses, and for some people it may be a little better for what they list than for what I list. The first thing going out is a new old stock adjustable seam guide, and this sold for $14.99 plus shipping, and I got this just this last weekend at an estate sale for $1. Next is a 5-in-1 horse grooming brush. It sold for $9 plus shipping, and it came from the bin store. It would have either been 50 cents or $1, and I probably would have only put 50 cents into that. And the last item is a Volcom cap. It sold for $12.99 plus shipping, and this came from a garage sale probably about a year ago where I bought quite a few hats, and this may be the last one from that garage sale. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for them, but I think it was probably $2 or $3 each. Today is Thursday, and I've only got 2 orders going out. I was going to wait until tomorrow to ship the orders, but one of my parents has a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and it's probably going to take a good portion of the day, so it's just going to be hard for me to do any shipping. So I'm going to go ahead and get those out today. I think it was in the last video I talked about turning on offers again, just because my sales have been in the toilet so much. And now I remember why I don't usually have offers on. And I know a lot of you probably have them on all the time and receive a lot of lowball offers. And while those lowball offers don't make me mad, they are certainly aggravating. I wasn't even going to talk about it, but I had one just a few minutes ago. I've got this click case, cassette carrying case, and I just listed it last night for $29.99. And like with most things on eBay, there are some that are cheaper than mine, and there are some that are more expensive. And it's not like this has a whole lot of options to it. It's just a plastic carrying case for cassettes. So I pretty much priced it kind of in the middle of most of the recent comps. But it is listed for $29.99. That person sent me a message and said, "Hi, ready for $18. Well, I bet you are, because the one that I listed holds 36 tapes, and I mostly saw two. The one that holds 20 tapes and the one that holds 36. There's not too many of them that are holding 36 tapes that are going for $18. Offers themselves don't bother me because I often negotiate at either estate sales or garage sales or whatever. It's the lowball offers. And by lowball, I mean when you start at around 50% off, which is about what this offer is. It's probably more like 47 or 48%. But to me, that's a little bit extreme. I know that some people would say, well, maybe that's just a starting point. And maybe it is. But when you start off so low, it just rubs me the wrong way. Yesterday, I had another lowball offer for a book that's listed for $69.99, and the offer was $20, which was like 70-something% off. So I just immediately declined it. I'm not going to go back and forth with someone who starts that low. I had another one a couple days ago that offered me like $3 for 2 cassettes, which was, again, over 50% off. I just think that when people start that absurdly low, there's probably not a whole lot of chance that we're going to be able to come to an agreement on a price that works for everybody. I think since I've had offers turned on now for about a week, I've only had 2 that I would consider to even be reasonable offers. I've mentioned before that I do try to buy some things on eBay because I want to support the platform. And one thing in particular where it was some kind of little pipettes or something that my brother uses. It's something that he uses in his work, and the ones that he wanted specifically, he just couldn't find anywhere. So guess where he did find them? On eBay. And I don't remember exactly how much they were, but the seller had 2 of them. And it looked like they were new old stock. And he wanted around, I think, $32 for each one. So I made an offer of $50 and asked him to combine shipping. Now, ultimately, the seller never responded to my offer, but I was still going to buy them because my brother really needed these for work. So if they were $32 a piece and I sent a $50 offer, that's around 20 or just over 20% off, which I consider to be a reasonable offer because I very often will discount something around 20% to get it moving. But what I didn't do is offer him some crazy low price like, say, $25. So enough about that. Let me show you what's going out today. First is a 2-pack of replacement filters for a Treddy TD 1500 air purifier. And these sold for $12.59 plus shipping. They came from the bin store. I've had these a long time. I don't know how much I spent. They were just sitting on a death pile shelf, and I just picked them up and listed them probably about a week ago. And the last and only other thing going out is a giant print King James Bible. This sold for $14.45 plus shipping, and I got it from an estate sale not very long ago. I don't remember how much I paid, but I think I paid a little too much, like maybe $3 or $4 for it, because when I comped it, the comps I were looking at were for brand new ones, not used ones. But either way, I'll make a few dollars on it. Today is Tuesday. I've got 9 orders going out, but that's also over about 4 days. And this weekend was absolutely horrible. I only had a few orders on Saturday and Sunday. And then the rest of the orders came either today or yesterday. I did almost no normal sourcing this weekend. There were garage sales and estate sales. I didn't go to any of them. But what I did do is I finally made it to the Goodwill bins. And I got to tell you, I think that I like it. I went with my friend Kim. She was a little more indifferent on it. She didn't hate it. She didn't love it. But I think there's a lot of potential there. And we were discussing some ways that I think it could be beneficial to both of our businesses. The only thing that I do wish is that it was a little closer because it took us about an hour to get there. So really, I was pretty happy about it. And I know that for a lot of you, the Goodwill bins is old news because you've been going to them for years. But like I said in a video not long ago, this is the first one that I have within a reasonable distance. Now, technically, there is a Goodwill bins in a city in the opposite direction, which is, again, about an hour away. But everyone that went there said that it was really, really small. Now, the location that I went to Saturday wasn't exactly that big. It wasn't as big as some others that I've seen on video, but I still think it's going to be a good avenue to source items for resale. So first, I'll show you what sold over the last few days. Then I'll show you what I picked up at the Goodwill bins. And I recorded a little bit of footage there that I'll put at the very end of the video if you want to watch that. The first item going out is a Louisiana Cooking Magazine, July-August 2019 edition. This sold for $8 plus shipping. And I picked up a whole lot of these cooking magazines at an estate sale for $3. I was really trying to figure out whether I wanted to lot these up or sell them individually. And I did obviously decide to just sell them individually. So I'm going to keep doing that for a while and see how fast these issues move. And if they continue to move at least at a pace that I think is reasonable, I will still sell them individually, at least to a point whenever they really are just not selling anymore. And I'll probably lot up the rest of them. But it is nice when one magazine pays for the whole lot. And I had a total of like 30-something magazines in it. Next is an iBobber portable castable fish finder. And it sold for $38.99 and it came from a garage sale for $10. I sold a Cricut Shapes cartridge, Life is a Beach. It sold for $7.46 plus shipping, and it came from a lot of these I bought at a garage sale for $1 each. Next are some Ed Hardy slip-on sneakers, size 8. And these sold for $25.99 plus shipping, and they came from a garage sale for $3. I sold a Thigh Master for $26.99, and it came from an estate sale for $3. As a matter of fact, the same estate sale where I bought the magazines also for $3. Next is a set of gumbo or soup bowls. There's a little bit better look. And they've got a crawfish on one and a shrimp on another. Those sold for $10.79 plus shipping, and they came from a garage sale. I don't remember how much I paid for them, but it was super cheap, like maybe $1 for a whole set, I believe. I sold a Click Case cassette carrying case. It sold for $26.99, and it came from a thrift store, a locally owned church-run thrift store, for $1.25. And it also had a bunch of cassettes in it, which I've listed some of them. Most of them, they're not even worth listing, but I might even make a little more money on the back end because of the cassettes. The next item going out is a Nikon Light Touch camera. It sold for $140.16 plus shipping. And this came from an estate sale for $7.50. And again, the same estate sale that the magazines and the Thigh Master came from. This is the camera that I talked about in either the last video or the video before, where someone had sent me an offer for $100, and I was kind of debating on taking it because the last sold comp from Buy It Now was like $175. I waited too long and the offer expired. Well, in this case, waiting too long actually helped me because I got an additional $40.16 out of the camera. And the last item going out is a Joe's Crab Shack Shark Head mug. It sold for $10.32 plus shipping, and it came from a garage sale for $1. Here's what I picked up on my first trip to the Goodwill bins. This is a Low Pro camera bag, like maybe a shoulder sling bag, and it does have the little dividers with the Velcro on them in it. And this comped out around $30 or so. I don't know exactly what this is, but it's some kind of I don't know what it is. It folds out like this. I know when I used to be a vendor at the flea market, probably about, literally at this point, about 25 years ago, I used something like this to display watches and knives, because you could just slide them inside these little elastic loops. So I don't know if that's what this is or not. It has a handle, and like I said, it opens up and folds out where you can sit it up. But I thought this may come in handy for something. I didn't really buy it for resale. I was just thinking that maybe I could use it for something else. I picked up this hybrid Tour Edge golf head cover. I saw a comp like $8 free shipping, but it was so light that I decided to pick it up. I found this little horn trumpet thing. I think it's a Fisher Price. I can't really remember. I saw one sold comp for like $30-something. Now, it was in a little bit better shape than this one. Hopefully this one will clean up good, and hopefully the battery compartment is not corroded. But I'm still adjusting to paying by the weight, so this may have not been a good pickup. I don't know yet. I found a few books. First is The Cursed Parlay, which is signed copy. Now, I looked on eBay. I didn't see this book at all. I looked on Amazon and it is out of print, which doesn't really mean that it's going to be that valuable, but I did want to pick it up since it was a signed copy and try it out. I found this American Grab Bag piano CD. Did not see any comps on it, but media's pretty cheap at the bin, so I grabbed it. I also found this Toshiba Recovery and Applications Drivers DVD. It is still new and sealed, and I saw one sold for $20-something for that. And these books are really heavy, so they drove up the price. But this book is for me, the ultimate book of barbecue. And In the Kitchen with David, Back Around the Table. I've got his other book, so I wanted to get this one, especially at the bins. It's a whole lot cheaper than what these cost in a bookstore or on QVC, because I think these run about $30 if I'm correct. Yep, 30. Smithing with a handheld pneumatic hammer. There's one person that has some of these listed on eBay. I think they've sold 5 and they have 2 left. And these are selling for, I think, $22. Next was this Eddie Bauer insulated bag. I saw a sold for, and I just looked this up a little while ago. I can't remember, maybe around $20 or something like that. And it looks to be in pretty good shape. And although I am not much on buying clothes to sell, I did find these Levi's 541s, and they just look to be in such good shape that I just wanted to grab them. So I got those. I got a pair of these Wrangler all-terrain gear pants, which comps look decent on those, probably $17 to $20. And finally, a pair of, I can't remember what these are called, something Foundry, and they're shorts, but they're a really big size. I did see some similar comps of these, and with them being a size 48, I thought I'd go ahead and pick those up. I do want to mention that our trip to the Goodwill bins was around 2:30 on Saturday afternoon. We were on our way somewhere else, and since we were passing right by the Goodwill bins, we decided to stop and check it out. So the point I'm trying to make is we got there well into the day. Now, I did see them put out at least one more bin while we were there, and I don't even know what it was because I didn't go back through to see. So they do look like they restock it at least to some degree throughout the day. I did ask the cashier if there were lines in the morning to get in when they open, and she said yes. So I think at some point I will try going earlier in the morning and maybe getting an even better pick. For all the items that I got Saturday, I spent just under $21. So that's going to do it for this part of the video. Like I said earlier, I'm going to let this video finish out with the footage that I took from the bins, if you're interested, just to see what my somewhat local bins looks like. So keep watching if you want to see that. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Just send them in there if you would.